Cheers, everybody.
Hold on. I didn't even get to send it out. That was a quick 30 seconds.
Yeah, no
Boom.
kidding.
Cheers. Monster.
Beer.
40-second parallel.
There we go. That's how we do it. And not quite in fight month yet, but April's chugging along pretty quick, and we only got to the end of May for this banger of a card to set foot in Plymouth, Massachusetts. First ever heavyweight title fight main event finally in the works. We got both of those guys on call. Killer co-main event in Jacob Bohn and Zach DiSabatino. They're waiting in the wings as well.
You guys got to announce that last week?
Yeah, we announced it all.
Nice.
Like, we gave clearance on all of the matchups but one, and then gave clearance before you left for that one, and we announced it all. Maybe to the chagrin of my cohort, but I might have broke some rules, but I don't care.
You broke some rules?
If it happens, it happens. All is forgiven. It's Easter. We're good. So.
No, man, I was pretty excited. I was pretty sad I got to miss last week, but I'm pretty excited.
You look recovered.
I look recovered. I'm feeling better.
Not really. I just watched you crank out that poster on like fumes coming at you for the past 20 minutes.
I mean, that's a good thing. We actually have the new poster, so we have all the guests on tonight.
Look at the segue.
If we could throw the poster up, that'd be cool.
I feel like this school is.
Well, last week, Mikey DeSilva was there.
That's
Big Mike.
Big Mike. Love you, brother.
There we go.
So
there's the poster. There's the official poster for Cage Titans 59. So Andy got to see me go a little crazy on getting all the sizes of the head. So everybody's head, especially the main event, the co-main event, and then the Goody and Congdon fight, because Trevor's just all neck, and like everybody's faces were so much shaped so differently. So Andy got to see.
I've seen it. I've seen how peculiar you get when it comes to lining up everybody.
I almost was just going to dump all those photos.
I looked at you and I'm like, Michael, you have 4 different fighters with 4 completely different heights here. It's genetically impossible to line them all up by eye, nose, and chin. I'm watching you.
I was trying.
You tried, but
trying to get a 6'7" guy lined up with a 5'7" guy.
It's not going to happen. But you did the best you could. It looks tremendous, and that's the official poster drop. And we've got a picture of Zach DiSabatino.
Yeah. So that was the official poster. We'll be changing over, as you can see, for Table Titans. We've changed over already the backgrounds, so we're going to change over all of our profile pictures and our splash pages and all of our social media. So that'll be coming in the next day or two. But that is the official theme. It's a throwback. We actually used that theme for Tateki Matsuda versus Ken Moy, and we also used that theme for Johnny Cupcakes versus Jay Perrin. So we've used that theme before. Updated it a little bit, man. But I'm super stoked about that main event. I mean, we announced this main event back in January.
Yeah.
After the day-night doubleheader, it was like, man, how are we going to top this doubleheader on March 18th? It's like, oh shit, we have this big heavyweight title fight that we're going to do for the first time ever. We've never done a heavyweight title fight.
And is that also the first time ever you've already had a main event slotted to event in advance?
Yes.
60 shows that you've done.
60
you usually take
shows.
that 10 weeks in between, construct the whole thing from scratch in between shows. But this is also another first. You had your first all-pro card, first heavyweight title fight, and first time you had a main event scheduled already, a show in advance. Are we going to start seeing some matchups for July coming around soon?
Oddly enough, I've actually started making some fights.
Would you look at that preparation? I love it.
I'm just sharing out the stats. We are back and have a huge show with some great guests. I'm sharing great guests.
For those of you who aren't aware, he doesn't believe in your ability to read what he's about to write.
Yeah, it's all right. But anyways, so yeah, man, I think what's going to happen now, because I'll be quite honest, like I don't think that I probably would do a day. Looking at the poster.
You said that last time.
I said that last time, but I do think that I won't. So what's happening now is we're actually 7 weeks out from our next card. We already had a main event. That's it, oddly enough. But anyways, we're already matching this Cage Titans 59 card. We already had a couple fights. We had the Miguel Silvestre fight already lined up with Sergey Paransuko. We had the Ross Hylton and the heavyweight title fight. We already kind of knew that Zach was going to be back in May, so that was kind of already met. We're already at, what do we got, 9 fights, and I probably have, another dozen to 2 dozen amateur fights. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pro fights going on right now. 2 amateur title fights. And this card's already getting full. So instead of me kind of putting the stress and trying to do double headers, I think what we'll just have to start doing is getting people into the groove of slotting them on the following card. Like, all right, cool. Like I didn't get you on a May. I'm not just going to add a card anymore. I'll just have to say, okay, the next one's July 22nd, and we're going to have to start filling that card in and just kind of stagger some of the fighters. Like, before we get to our guests, though, I'm kind of jumping everywhere. I know all of our guests are logged in. I can't believe everybody's on time. We do have some breaking news. We just made this fight official as a pro fight. I know you guys announced all the fights last week, but I am super stoked for this one. This is a huge fight. Pat Casey is making his debut with Cage Titans. Pat Casey has been around for a long time, smashing the scene out in Western Mass, fighting Bellator. He fought in Bare Knuckle. He's fought everybody. He's fought a who's who. He's fought from 185 all the way down to 155. This guy takes on all comers. This guy's a gangster. Like, he just loves to fight. And who better to welcome to the Cage Titans at 170 than our own gangster himself, Marty Navis, 6-2. 9-6, Pat Casey taking on 6-2 Marty Navis. That is gonna be an unreal fight to add to another a card that's already stacked.
Yeah, it's a prime time fight between two absolute savages already well established in this game. Seasoned veterans taking on an extreme challenge in both of their careers. You made it announced. I know it was kind of like in the works, needing some confirmation, but once it got the green light, it's one to circle for sure.
And it's funny because, like, you know, our theme last time at the March 18th, the doubleheader, was like, all right, we had the main event, then we had the co-main event, which could have been a main event on any other card. Then we had the Barrett Kanani fight that could have been a main event on any other card. And then Bohn versus Ali Zabian, which would have been a main event on any other card. Here we are looking at this card. We got the big heavyweight title fight. Our co-main event could be main event in the card. Then you got the Trevor Goody versus Jack Congdon, which is another big fight. And then you slot in there Pat Casey taking on Marty Navis, 2 experienced pros. This is a very top-heavy card. Never mind the Jeff Joy and Tyler Smythe. Jake Hixenbaum returning against Aaron Hughes. Joe Poirier taking on Seth Bassler. And then when you go to the amateur title fight, with Sergey Miguel and Colin Robinson, who's taking on Jadoffer Ojukwu. Jadoffer lost that title to David Burke. David Burke is kind of in limbo right now. I know he had some surgery and things. He might come back and just go pro, or he might come back to defend, but with it up in the air right now, he's going to let us have a title fight in his absence. And if he does come back and he goes pro, we'll just recognize these guys as champ. If he comes back and decides he wants to knock some rust off and fight for the title, he'll just defend his title. And he's taking on Colin Robinson, who was our first ever Muay Thai middleweight champion. And he's an undefeated MMA fighter in addition to his Muay Thai title. So he was going to go pro last show, and then something happened with his opponent that he pulled out. And then they kind of regrouped and said, you know what, let's just have 1 or 2 more amateur fights before we go pro. So he kind of about-faced, and now he's back. And
it's kind of one of those fights that both of these guys are right on that level. Jadoffer Ojukwu, he lost to David Burke, got knocked out, lost his title, but he's bounced back since, has looked outstanding in his latest performances. Colin Robinson, undefeated. Both guys really on the trajectory of making a splash at the professional ranks across a couple of different weight classes. Both guys have talked about making 170, and both guys, I think, are willing to go up to 205 if they really wanted to. But here they meet at 185, right at that bridging part of their career, if you will, from pinnacle of amateurs to budding professionals. So it's going to be an exciting matchup. Gold on the line, high stakes, and both guys stellar athletes, great fighters, and it's going to be a true challenge. It's going to be washed regardless of the result. They know they have nothing to lose here. Whoever loses this fight is going pro next anyways. So this is one to.
There we go. Circle.
Eyes on it. Oh yeah, I've already said that once.
You already said it.
It's just trying to
spread
it all out.
But anyways, enough about the other fights.
I got to put it like lower, like yours is? All right, I'm too close. I'm too loud and booming.
Well, it's kind of like. But anyways, there we go. So either way, we obviously broke down some quick fights that we were talking about, but we have all of our guests on, and I would love to start talking about some of our guests.
Oh, yeah.
We'll bring on Brandon Battles and Rasquash, Ross Hylton on first, and then we'll go to Bohn and DSAB. We have both sets of opponents on. I think I would. I mean, why don't we do this? Why don't we bring in
Make it
Ross
like a Zoom
first?
meeting. Bring everybody in.
Well, why don't we bring in Ross? We'll ask him some questions. Then we'll bring Battles on and have them both on at the same time. Then we'll let Ross go, and then we'll bring. We'll have a little private time with Battles. Then we'll do the same thing with Bohn and DSAB. I think that Ross and Battles have already stared down. Mm-hmm. They've already seen each other. They're very cordial to one another. So I don't think we're going to have much trash talk. I think there's a lot of respect there. But the big man himself, here he is.
There he is.
I guess we got to unmute him, though. Let's see. Unmute. Oh, nope. Yeah, we can go that way. Boom. I think I heard a click.
Oh, wait.
Hey.
How's that?
Oh, that is beautiful. How you doing, my man?
Doing pretty good. What y'all been up to lately?
Nah, not too much, man. Just getting ready for the big fights. Last week I was a little sick, getting over some sickness. Those little rascally kids bringing home from the daycares and the schools. So got over that, but I'm back and I'm excited to be talking to you guys. Oh, there we are.
Likewise, man. Oh, speak of the devil, there he goes. But yeah, I was listening. Obviously, you've been a very busy man, and I have been as well. So yeah, looking forward to my first title fight for you guys, and it's your first title ever. So yeah, good times. Let's have it.
And I am so thrilled to be calling this fight. You fought in so many tremendous. Just coming off of fighting in the PFL, you fought for Bellator all the way up in NEF. You're local to Maine, and first Cage Titans appearance here, and you're a devastating, true heavyweight finisher. Who I think you've only gone to the distance once in your career, if I'm not mistaken.
Two times
times
actually. Yeah, one. The first one was a win against Rudy Shafroth. That was my first time out in Bellator. 3-day notice while I was still working at Home Depot, so gave it what I had. Mm-hmm. And then the other one was a decision loss to Domingos Barros, who is actually a teammate of Brendan. Like Jorgen's down there too, so you got a whole row of killers who all know me well enough to pick me apart and make this an exciting fight.
So I got to ask, the nickname, all that stuff. I've seen that you've done some trivia. What brought you into the sport of MMA?
I was 27 years old, and I was kind of at a crossroads where I really wanted to teach martial arts, but don't get me wrong, I love the traditional background that I have, but you need to be able to really dissect what is competition effective, what's self-defense effective, what's the art, and what's carrying on the lesson plan. And I was lucky enough to run into Nick Gulliver at a fusion match, which is kind of like baby MMA with pads at karate tournaments. And he, after we competed against each other a few times, we ended up at a grappling match, and he brought me into first class MMA to check out how the sparring was there. And it all just kind of lined up with this idea I didn't quite have in my head, where I'm now on this path to enjoy the sport and figure out how and what I want to teach, so that when I get a little more old and grouchy, I can make sure that what I have to offer is effective and I can break it down the way that I need to. I want to know that whatever I'm showing people and saying, here, this is a good idea to train, is actually a good idea to train. And there's the wonderful thing in cage fighting where you get to go and fight somebody, and instead of racking up bail money and fines, you get a paycheck instead. So it all just kind of married together to exactly what I needed in my life. And yeah, so here we are all these years later, and I'm loving it.
You seem like such a well-mannered and friendly person to just so casually say it's better to go collect a paycheck than money, just beating people up. It's quite quite a contrast there.
Well,
And
when you
like,
put it like that,
and it's a testament to the hidden savagery that is behind Rasquatch as you're rocking tie-dye shirt with Dan Severn in the background. So it's it's
oh, don't forget this tie-dye shirt. Here to represent Shory Strong, and I'm going to throw out a quick little hashtag fuck cancer. Sorry if you got a PG rating.
We don't have no.
we
Yeah, we don't
we
have
don't give a
PJ.
fuck.
Nope.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, I'm also I was hoping to provide Mike Shorey, a friend of mine, with a good show at PFL on his way out, but unfortunately, that didn't work out in my favor. He's proud I didn't tab, but it wasn't the win we were looking for. So now I'll be going out to push this and push the fight like Mike ideology. You only get one shot, so may as well go out and either on the shield or carrying it out with you. I really wish that it was an all finish record because it's a fight. Either put me out or I'm going to put you out. That's the way I see it. That's the way that fighting is, and that's really what the whole journey's been about is enjoying the thing, and that's what Mike and I really got to do. Not exactly the way we wanted to, but it's we did. So I'll be carrying the Shory name into the cage with me and walking out same way I went in.
So speaking, you want to finish. That is kind of like what your whole career is. Like I've watched you from a little distance, up at NEF, and it's just like you are just a headhunter, man. You are coming with the power, and the tenacity, and just you hit people and they go to sleep. Like there's
Smart
no
guy
mistake.
you're ever gonna meet.
What was that?
Smartest dumb guy you're ever gonna meet. I could spell philosophy and my entire name. Like, so listen to this real quick. Ras Makaru Tau von Mat Amu Hylton. I had the etymology and the spelling of my name by the time I was 6. But I'm still a headhunter who doesn't stay out of range, which is what gets me into trouble. So, it's there's just as much intelligence as there is stupidity in my style and strategy. So, but there's the animal and there's the philosopher, and we both go in there, and some blending of the two is what's going to happen while we're doing it.
So speaking of the range,
So
Andy mentioned you are of true heavyweight, 6'6". So you don't use the range is kind of what I'm picking up. But you just want to go in there and just like close the distance, just throw bombs.
Yes, against better advice. I have been drilled and drilled and drilled, and I'm trying to really, where we're getting into my latter years, I'm trying to make sure that I can cement proper range finding and proper distance management on my way through here, so that I can again be a good teacher once I'm done with this. Got to be a little more cool, calm, and collected, and keep everything finely honed on the way through.
So speaking of teaching, your martial arts journey started at what age, and what traditional martial art is your background in,
Uh, oof.
or a whole
So,
blends?
I mean, at this point, it's been a wide variety. Like, my dad started teaching me boxing when I was like 5 or 6, but that only lasted a few years because, well, he was born in 1935 and I was born in 1988. So he wasn't really as strapping and physically available as he may have wanted to be. So, that was kind of an on and off thing growing up. And then I got 2 years of judo. Me and my little brother Leo trained judo for 2 years at this little club in Augusta, right around the Rotary Circuit. I wish I could remember my instructor's name because he kind of gave me my first impression of what Eastern martial arts was like through judo. I got a bunch of crazy mishmash stuff while I was a teenager down in Florida. And I didn't really get formal with it again until I had my two little girls. That was when I got introduced to Kempo. I belted in that. After I left the two schools I was affiliated there, I trained Taekwondo, ITF, through that. I met through the first school. I met Dragonfire Martial Arts Andy Campbell. He's a Shotokan instructor, and I just got my second degree from them a couple years back. So ironically enough, it's all kind of along the same timeline. If you know martial arts history, I just followed the evolution of Kempo to what was it, Kempo, and then Shotokan, and then Taekwondo. I got them mixed up a little bit, but I got the whole timeline now. And being able to pick that apart and apply it to the modern sport was something that really fascinated me. It was like, how do we take these old pieces and put them in? You know, Lyoto Machida did it. Thompson did it. There are others who have had success. And through that traditional lens and then geographic switches, we got Cheishindo through John Panett, one of Master Shay's students here in Portland. And he's along that same timeline as well. That lineage of martial arts that came out of the Korea, Okinawa, Japan fusion that happened down in that area. And just having yet another perspective of that skill set has really helped things click over the last year or so. And John Panett's no nonsense, but he likes to have fun too. So, you know, having that kind of old school mindset for your coach is really helpful. So I've just, you know, there's a lot of good people to help me. And throughout this whole process, I went down and I learned bare knuckle stuff from Bobo O'Bannon and his coach over in Wales, Mr. Jason. Rafael Garcia at ATT Tampa at World Class Martial Arts is another Taekwondo guy who's also got Thai striking and Jiu-Jitsu, and has really helped me to blend things from his perspective, introduced me to Kimbo Slice's cousin, Dr. Roddy Ferguson, who's another judo guy, coming full circle there and breaking down cage strategy. There's just martial arts gets you in touch with so many fun people who really kind of get this area of life and want to help. And, you know, if anything, I've already won every fight, you know, regardless of what my record looks like, because of all the people who I get to train with and work with and under. And, you know, it's a good time. Yeah, I mean, even at the end of this, I hope Brendan and I can go and train together and put some work in so we can, you know, be the Northeast taking over the rest of the country. But it's just, you know, wherever we go, we're having fun and we're learning, and yeah, I guess to be societally acceptable instead of the other cage worthy, which we're also working on trying to deal with up here in Maine.
I love it. I
So
don't
yeah,
think. I'm sorry, brother. I'm just trying to say you might be among like the most philosophical fighters I think I've ever chatted with. The depth of how you approach this game, and you know, regardless of
look, there's
results,
a lot of
all of you,
I put a lot of work into it, but there's a lot of us.
Yeah. Well, so before we let you go, give us, I was going to say, give us your quick pitch to the Cage Titans fans, but you're very philosophical, and give us your pitch, your quick pitch. I'm trying to say on what fans can expect from Rasquash, because this is your first time traveling down to Cage Titans. I will say, when we had you there for the stare down in January, just you in the crowd, people were like, "Dude, who the hell's that guy?"
Yeah, I was in the zone. I think I was like washing my hands outside of the pisser, like right next to you. I was like, "Oh, that's a big fella next to me." And then later you were squaring off, and I was like, "Oh shit, that was Ross. He's here!" Like, I was like,
so besides your unique look, what can they expect when that cage door closes as Cage Titans?
They can expect that we're both going to go right at it. I mean, this is a classic wrestler versus striker matchup, and we've been down different roads, but we're both in here fighting for our family and trying to represent who we are and our community. So I expect the same guy who's out there headhunting, but with more concise use of the skill set that has been very graciously gifted to me repeatedly over the years.
All right. Well, there you have it. Cage side. You do have some fans. I have Rob Pico said he's a Battles fan, but he's a fan of you as well. So you're definitely winning over some of the
Hey,
Cage
be
side
a Battles
people.
fan.
Yeah. Cam Arnold said, has Roz told anybody that he's been beating the brakes off you at lunchtime?
Hey, you weren't supposed to be letting people know about that, man. That ain't fair. That ain't fair. That's private.
It's,
Listen to him.
All right.
I'm stoked, man. He's the kind of guy that take a fight on 3 days' notice out of working on Home Depot, and here you are with a whole card in between preparation for a title fight. I can't wait to
Hell
see
yeah.
what you bring to the table.
Well, thank you so much for tuning in and coming on, Ross. And
Glad to
we
be.
will
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
hopefully what we'll do is, yeah,
I fight like
sure.
fuck.
There you go. Say that one more time before we let you go, because I was talking, so it cut you off.
Nope. Thank you. I appreciate it. Hashtag sorry strong. Hashtag I fight like Mike. Hashtag fuck cancer. We're gonna beat the brakes off everybody.
All right, Ross, thank
Love
you
it.
so much. I cannot wait to. And maybe towards the end of your camp, we'll bring these guys back on and see how camp is. We'll bring them together. I think he's a gentleman.
You want to bring Battles in now? Or?
We'll bring Battles in, and we'll kind of see what he has to say about watching that and what he's been up to. Yeah, dude, my head is so red. I was out in the sun.
I know, you could tell, like,
What's up, Battles?
What up?
What's going on, Brendan Battles? How you doing?
He's
Good. How are you guys?
good, man. So obviously, we know you. You fought for Cage Times before, so we don't have to go into the history of what you've been doing to get to where you are today. One interesting thing that I took away from interviewing with Ross is that he has history with Domingos and Jorgen, two of your main training partners. How does that help you in going into this matchup with Ross?
I mean, before Roz decided to fight, wanted to fight me, he was one of the guys that trained with us. So we've trained together before. Having guys like Jorgen Domingos, people who've, Jorgen put him away, and then Domingos put him to a decision. They obviously have their credentials and 2 cents to put in. At the end of the day, I am a different martial artist than both of them. I have my skill set, so I don't think it'd be similar fights, but more or less the same result.
Yeah, they're very striking, heavyweights, both Domingos and Jorgen. And
Domingos is a wrestler though too, right?
Oh, they both wrestle.
That boy can wrestle. Let me tell you, Domingos.
Oh yeah,
wrestler.
By far the best athlete at 300 pounds I've ever seen.
Yeah, he's a freak.
He strikes like he's a goddamn lightweight. He came to wrestle with us like one day with me, Lee, B, and Jorgen. I turned and looked at Lee. I was like, yo, we got to stop doing this because he's going to out wrestle me in like 2 months. He picks things up quick. He's nasty.
Oh, so he didn't wrestle before. He just picked it up.
I can't speak for that. I know he's wrestled, he has wrestled through MMA, but I don't think he's ever had a true like wrestling approach the way me and Lee do it.
Yeah.
So you could see when he was with us within that first hour, he was picking up a lot quick.
Getting the rounds down on regiment. Yeah, I got a couple of fight camps that are going simultaneous down there. I love it. And the training all kind of like, and you said you trained with Ross before, and you're talking about like the heavyweight community in the Northeast. And I like how you're all kind of training together and all still willing to fight each other too. It's kind of a cool thing to see from my spot.
So mentioning Ross, There's no doubt about it. You're a very large gentleman, Mr. Battles. This is going to be the first time you're kind of competing against somebody that
borderline undersized.
that you're smaller than. I'm assuming, I followed, obviously you fought for us as amateur. We've seen you in the pros. Have you ever fought somebody as large, even going back to your wrestling days? Usually you're probably the bigger guy.
Yes and no. I mean, my amateur career, I was always under 240 because I was commercially fishing back then. I most recently just when I came back, I was 250 for that fight in June, and then I was more towards 265 for August. So we've been trying to keep weight on. But I don't think my size, I mean, obviously, my physical size is intimidating to the most general public, but that's the furthest thing to my best attributes. I mean, I'm by far one of the hardest workers in the room. You can put whoever you want next to me. You can put a lightweight next to me. I'm sure I can outwork them. I'm extremely athletic for my size.
So do you think that would be the difference maker in this fight? Is your athleticism?
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt. I mean, you don't. All egos aside, you don't get a full ride at a D1 school for nothing. It's less than 1% from high school football players go to be D1A football players in college. Been there, done that. Everything that I've done, I've always been top tier of.
Yeah.
Especially in Massachusetts, we won football scholarship out of this state. That's reserved like Texas.
Tyler Pimentel says you're
scholarship just off my wrestling. I just won a wrestling. I won that football scholarship off my wrestling credentials alone.
Oh, so you didn't play football? Did you play football?
No, I played football, but I didn't know. No, I played football, but let me tell you, my roommate could tell you the lack thereof of my knowledge compared to everyone else was insane. Like the amount of time we had to spend for me to understand the playbook, I was like, dude, just tell me what I got to do. Where all these other guys, this is what they live, eat, breathe, and I'm like, I wrestle.
Yeah. You just want to smash. Just tell me who to hit. Let me run full speed at him.
There you go. So what going back to the fact that you've trained with two of former Ross's opponents, you've trained with Ross. What is some things that you're looking to take advantage of?
Well, there's no secret that the Cage Titans cage isn't the biggest. So keeping me at the end of your jab is going to be extremely hard. Obviously, we're going to be on the fence a lot. There's not going to be a lot of distance between him and I, and he'll be in a minute's notice that he'll be on the ground, and we can just put him away from there.
So you're thinking of closing the distance this fight. I mean, your last fight, Joshua Marsh, you were really implementing a jab, and you started getting into some really slick striking exchanges there. But that's totally different from what you're expecting.
No, we'll do that. We'll do that.
All right.
At the end of the day, this is another stepping stone to get me where I need to be. Mm-hmm. So whatever I need to do to put him out is we'll do that. I'm not going to just go out there and just try to take him down. No, I want to stand and bang, but I want to seize every opportunity that he gives me. So if that is taking his head off on the feet, then we'll do that. If that means putting him on the cage and beating him up and taking him down, we'll do that too. Anywhere the fight goes, I'm prepared.
Christian Acavaria, he said you're a wrestling savage. I'm assuming he might have wrestled maybe when you were around. He's
he is like a 45 or something.
Yeah, no, but I mean he might know him from the wrestling days. Also, an interesting comment somebody said, they go, you in MMA have as close to a finishing move like they do in WWE wrestling as anybody. It's the back take ground and pound. Somebody posted that on Instagram the other day. They're like, he's got his own finishing move in MMA, which is taking the back and ground and pound. Is that just a position that's advantageous to you? Is that just something that comes easy, natural?
Wrestling.
I think it just goes back to the wrestling. I mean, when I wrestled, we threw legs a lot. I was one of the few guys at light heavyweight and heavyweight that would run legs. And I'm pretty good and aware of when I'm high, when I'm too low, when I can throw boots in, when I can't. Once I have my boots in, you're gonna. I know how to control you, so you end up with your face in the mat. We're not rolling. I'm looking for a choke. I want to put your face in the mat and beat your face in. I'm not looking to choke you out. I'm not looking to give you a way out. I want the ref to pull me off you. I didn't spend 8, 12 weeks beating this shit out of myself and taking all this time away from my kids to give you an easy way out. So that wrestling position is just the way it turns. It's not like that's something we drill a lot, I can honestly say. I got no answer for it. It just seems we end up there every fight.
Got no answer. I just want to push your face into the mat and beat the shit out of you. Sounds like a pretty solid answer.
It's like the very many heavyweights
Yeah.
that have bad intentions for the opponent, not talking any smack, but the violence and the friendliness behind both of you guys in this interview is startling and exciting at the same time. I love it.
Safe to say it's going to be a violent heavyweight title fight on May 27th. You mentioned taking some time away from your family, so we won't keep you much longer. It's been a little bit of time, some healing, some injuries and things like that. What do you want to say to the fans that they can expect on May 27th?
The new and improved Brennan. I mean, this is my, fifth pro fight?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, fifth pro fight. And every time I've gotten in there, everyone's seen that I've made huge jumps in my game. So yes, we had some injuries. We had to call off that last fight. That sucked. But we have gotten better. We continue to get better every day. And you're going to see a new, well put together Brennan Battles looking to make his next step.
All right, man.
And a lot of violence.
A lot of violence.
Heavyweight violence. I'm stoked, man. Since the first time y'all faced off in the cage, even with a doubleheader in between, it's been a circle on my calendar to call the first heavyweight main event in Cage Titans history. And to have two fighters I'm a fan of, and think that the stylistic clash is just a brilliant, poetic essence of the fight game in its total. I can't wait. So I'm more excited than ever after hearing both of you guys' takes on it, and you guys seem very calm and meditative about hurting each other.
Well,
I got nothing.
Well, thank you so much for your time. We look forward to seeing you on May 27th. All right.
Now it's got out, and we're on to the
now.
I mean, how excited are you after hearing both of those guys who have trained together, understand the mutual knowledge of each other's game? They're both students in their own right and practitioners of carnage.
I think I'm excited because Ross is the type of guy I've seen him at NEF, and I've seen him just knocking guys silly. He was coming in on a 3-fight win streak, and he's just dropping guys. And he's just a true heavyweight. This guy's a monster. Like you said, when you see him, no one knew who Ross was at Cage Titans. Even when he showed up to do the stare down, no one knew about it. Yeah. He just was there, and I didn't tell anybody. And people were like, dude, who's that gorilla over there? He's just huge. And Battles has that same mystique when he walks in. It's like, dude, that's a mountain, man. Ross will fight anybody. And when we had the conversation, I was like, I never reached out because I figured you just having fun up there in Maine, and I never knew you were interested coming down here. And when I mentioned Battles' name, it wasn't even I know maybe I'm tipping a little bit, but I don't want to. But I know that the Battles team was like, oh, well, we trained together. You sure he's gonna say yes? And I was like, no, he said yes, 100%. And they're like, oh shit, okay, let's go, it's on. And he didn't even hesitate when I mentioned Battles. I was like, well, I heard you guys train together. Is this a good fight? You guys are definitely in. And I was talking to his buddy who's managing him. He's like, he told me any name you gave him, he's in. Oh shit, that's the type of guy he is. Let's do it.
Shows, man. That's the philosophy behind his game plan. He's in there to test what works so he can continue to teach. And he's a lifelong martial artist who embodies this to its fullest and taking on the
And then when I
test
look
that
at
is-
Battles, like Battles returned when he kind of did the same thing when we were setting him up with his last fight that ended up falling through. Battles was like, I'm not here on the local scene to like rally a few like give me wins and then try to fill up some false hope that I'm some next coming to God and I'm gonna make it in the UFC. Like I want to know now. Give me a test right out the gate. Like who do you have? I don't care who it is. I don't care what anybody on my team says. Other managers that are saying you're an idiot. Don't take these type of fights on the local scene. Any of that. He goes, I don't care who. Line them up, and I want to take them out and prove that I can get to the next level. Because if I don't have it at the local scene, then there's no business me going on to the UFC to find out there that I don't have it. And I love that about him. So this fight, for a title, the first ever heavyweight title, I think I'm super pumped for it. And I think the fans are definitely going to be in for a treat. Like as the next few weeks and as we get closer, we're still 7 weeks out, almost 2 months.
your laptop's going to die soon.
No, I don't care. I don't need it. Anywho, as we get closer, it's just going to get more excitement that, we're 7 weeks out. Normally, we don't even have fights to announce. And now here we are. We have main event, co-main event. We have 9 fights. We've already talked about.
We're already starting to talk about July.
So, anyways, I can't wait for that fight. But moving on to the lightweight co-main event.
we got a couple of guests up here. In the
Jacob Bohn and Zach DiSab. Like, Bohn has fought anybody. Same thing, kind of like that, Ross. Is like he took on Giannetti. He took on Barrett. He took on Ali Zabian. And it was like, all right, cool.
Killer after killer after killer. And without further ado, we know he's been waiting in the wings since the start of this thing. Everybody was on time.
Hey!
And listen, I just want to make sure. Jacob Bohn, you've been on the show thrice at this point. How's the audio? Can you hear us? What's going on? There's no storm over Rochester tonight.
No, it's nice. It's nice tonight.
All right, we got it.
Nice.
Third time's the charm. It's kind of the story of your Table Titans and now at Cage Titans because you fought killer after killer after killer, came up short in your fights against Peter Barrett and Joe Giannetti, but were Fight of the Year nominee and winner, respectively. And then in the third fight, you're putting on a dog fight, just like everybody's used to, against Ali Zabian, who's somebody who's fought for Cage Titans plenty of times before, who's an in-stater, but to see you come from behind and get that third round finish, it was a truly emotional moment for me. I've been calling fights here for 7 years at this point, and to see you come from behind and get that win that you've really, truly fought from the depth of your heart for, it was it's right up there in the pinnacle of one of the most emotional moments I've had cage side. I gotta say. So thanks for joining us tonight. I'm stoked for this next fight because you just
thanks, bro. I don't know. I don't know if I was really behind though. I'd say it was pretty close. A lot of people, even me, I'd say it was 1-1 going into the third. So he hit me hard, but I mean, my takedowns added up, so I fucking hit him too.
I love
it was close.
I love Bohn. He's such a fighter. He's like, you're giving him all this compliment. He's like, fuck that. I wasn't down. I'm just all the nice stuff. He's like, fuck that. I wasn't down.
I saw it in the moment. You were in the fight. You were never out of the fight, but it was just, I thought you were down 2 rounds going into that third. It was close. I could have been wrong, but that was just my and
That's
like
right.
just you get that finish, and it was something that you tried a couple of times.
Right.
That little double instep sweep to the guillotine, and when it worked, it was
just like a little cement mixer, kind of just from wrestling back in high school. One of my coaches, Joe Jewett, was really good at it. He pinned like 7 dudes his freshman year in college, and it's just something I don't know. I just got to get back to what I'm good at. Like I always keep saying, the wrestling, like striking is getting better. It always is getting better, just like everything. But you just got to do what you're good at. You can't be fucking getting too crazy, You got to get the job done. Is what you got to do.
What was that moment like for you? Dude, you had so much emotion.
Right. It's a big win, man. After the losses at Cage Titans, like the Barrett fight, I don't know. It was a quick stoppage, so it is what it is. I don't fucking know. It was a banger, so to have it stopped like that in the third round, it was disappointing. But it is. Everybody has their own opinion on it. And Giannetti fight, it was good. I fucked my knee up, but I think I was winning that fight too. And Ali, it is what it is. You know, it just one after the next, and I got the job done. I'm gonna get this job done too. Keep getting better.
Yeah.
It's
So have you had your eye on DSAB? Like, do you watch the whole lightweight division? Because I'm assuming that you're going to have to, you kind of knew if you were going to be around Cage Titans. There's a slew of 55ers. Was this a name that you thought you might face off with before?
Yeah, we're supposed to match that. We were like, I don't know. I thought we were gonna fight a while ago, and something happened where we didn't line up. I thought we were supposed to fight for you guys a while ago, and he didn't take it or something. I don't know. Pretty sure because we were talking about fighting a while ago.
well, it's coming to fruition now, and you're riding some serious momentum. It was one of the loudest eruptions, and we harped on it like last week, where we were the main event and co-main event of last fight card were cemented in history. But it's my mission to make sure that your fight with Ali Zabian is never overshadowed, because that was seriously one of the most compelling and competitive fights and barn burners ever. We were blessed with 3 of them all in one night, and just that momentum to carry on. And like you said, this is not the first time that this fight has come to fruition, but where do you see your strengths in the matchup against Zach DiSabatino as an opponent in particular?
Well, he's strong. He's got some decent wrestling. I won't say good, but it's decent. He's got some decent wrestling. He's quick to go for subs. He's not too patient with them. So I mean, it is what it is. But he's well rounded. But a little bit of striking pressure, he kind of, he doesn't do well with it. But it is, he's probably gotten better. So, I'm just gonna put it on him, and you're gonna see where the striking, the wrestling, the jits. I just think I just out level. I'm just a little faster with all the transitions and all the timing and everything else. Just like the Ali fight and the fight before that, Bakanowski, it's pretty similar. So I'm back to fighting another southpaw. So I like to fight in southpaws.
Yeah.
I'm so happy your internet's working today, because there's so much gold that you keep giving us. You're like, it's a lot. So those who don't know, last time was like a storm, and that was just the worst interview I think we've ever had. But I love these little gold nuggets. He's like, I'm not gonna say he's good at wrestling. He's like, oh, he's good at wrestling.
Whatever.
You're just so and you're such a gentleman. Because I've talked to you obviously outside of the cage, with the Cage Titans, and you're such a gentleman. You're such a nice guy, and you do it in such a nice way. Just like, he's good at it. Actually, no, I'm not gonna say that. Just like when you were throwing a little dig at Andy. Andy's like, dude, I love Jacob Bohn. That was the most memorable moment of my Cage Titans calling career. And you're like, I wasn't down in that fight. I wasn't down in that fight. Gold.
I wasn't down. That's funny.
Ah, man, I just remembered in the moment thinking you were down, but neither here nor there.
Don't you dare say that.
It is what it is. Everybody has their own opinion on the fight. So it is.
I will say, I never watch the fights. I openly say that. I'm just running around doing so many things, and I don't watch the fights. I will say that place erupted when you won, and I went over to. I won't say their name, but I was like, dude, what happened? They were like, oh, Bohn was losing, and then Ali out of nowhere just shoots a takedown like an idiot and loses the fight for himself. I go, what do you mean? And that was a fan's reaction, and that's the only kind of what I heard. I just am running around. I hear the place go wild, and for me, it was weird because, you're an out-of-stater, so you sell a couple tickets, but it's not like a huge crowd. And Ali Zabian, though he's in mass, he doesn't even take tickets. He sells 0 tickets. So the place just erupted and went wild. And I'm like, oh, if that was like a Valdina fight, I would expect the crowd to go crazy because he sells a bunch of tickets or guys like that. But I'm like, what the fuck happened? I turned to somebody, and they were just like, oh yeah, it looked like Ali was gonna sail to a win, and he just shot like an idiot. and Bohn snatched his neck and choked him out. And I was like, oh shit. And I saw you on the cage, living the moment. It was amazing.
Oh yeah, dude. Well, I mean, I'm gonna start bringing more people. Everybody loves it down there. It's, not that should be surprised or anybody's surprised because Cage Titans is a great venue and like just a different experience from other fights. But I had a decent crowd with me. I had over 30 people, and that didn't put up a
Yeah.
little volume on 30 people.
It's so funny.
And you came with Jake Hicksenbaugh, who's also fighting on this card.
Right.
And you guys
Yep.
bring a whole entourage. There were Jaguar shirts galore throughout.
Lars, your manager, he said it was probably one of the craziest moments in Cage Titans
Yes.
history. He said he had it 1-1 going into the third. And he actually told me, I don't know if he shared this with you. I'm going to blow up his spot. He did tell me that was probably one of the most memorable moments, if not the most memorable, in his entire MMA career history. How emotional he was when that happened. He said that was one of his favorite moments he's ever had in the sport of MMA.
And I think it's because
Nice.
the
Good.
reputation you built as an absolute warrior in your first two fights. You just won, like we said, winning the respect over of the hometown crowd. You fight Giannetti, you fight Peter Bear, who are like hometown guys, and no, you didn't lose any fans in either of those fights. You gained an incredible amount of them. So for them to all witness you finally capture that win against an absolute savage in Ali Zabian, because you really go back and watch that fight, you guys had everything in there. You both were mixing it up so well and really hurting each other. Neither one of you wanted to quit
Oh yeah.
whatsoever. A true spectacle of mixed martial arts.
Oh yeah.
He's got
He had
something.
some good leg kicks.
And
Some good
both of you
hooks
guys,
too.
your
Every-
kicks were both
everything
landing
stuff.
really good.
Lars
Yeah.
said it almost brought him to tears.
Yeah,
That's
I don't know. It's been a long journey, like everybody's road is a long road, and everybody gets to where they are at in their career in different times, different paths, like I'm saying. But um, over 12 and 10 now, and all the fucking good guys I fought, it just made me the fighter I am now. And like I said, Ali was just the first one, so let's keep it going. Well, Jake.
So switching gears, So switching gears for a minute. You've also you shared the cage, or the stage, or however you want to say it, the card last time with your student Jake Hicksenbaum. He's actually competing on this card as well. What is it like competing with your students, and how does that help motivate you and inside the gym, and how are you backstage, and kind of take us through that kind of process with you.
Man, it was awesome to be on a card like that with one of my fighters, obviously, but like for the first time, one of my fighters is a pro athlete. So it did have some pressure on me, but I felt like he was sharing some of the pressure with me too, because like usually I'm just in the corner. Well, if I'm coaching them, I'm just in the corner. So I'm like, I want to get in there and I want to fight with them too. I want to do it for them. I want to help them out, but it's their time to do what they got to do. But when I was there at the fight with Jake this time, and he was fighting before me, it took some of the pressure off me in my fight, because it's like, we're both here to do what we got to do. We've been training, we've putting the work in, and it just felt like home, because we work together so hard every day, and why not fight on the same card as each other? And I want to do it, maybe not this one, but one coming up soon, maybe the next one, whenever you guys want to have me back. I know you guys like the shows I put on, but I want to corner him or another one of my fighters, because Grady, I got a few other guys that want to make that next step, and a few amateurs I want to get on your guys' card. But I want to corner my guy, and I want to fight on the card too. I know Giannetti cornered a guy, and he went and fought that night too, so that'd be cool to do the whole circle of life thing.
There you go. Well, Jacob, it's always a pleasure having you, and we look forward to seeing you on May 27th. Any last things that you want to let everybody else know about?
No. Everybody's always just just good just to think back on the wrestling. Everybody's like just forgets how I'm a wrestler. I wrestled since I was like a little baby, wrestling on the mats, growing up. Went to high school, good wrestling high school. Went to college, wrestling college. I mean, I'm still fucking fighting, still wrestling on the mat, still coaching, still teaching. So I'm a wrestler at heart, but I'm a fighter now. So I'm a better fighter. But to be back to the sponsors too, though, I always forget to holler at my sponsors. Sweet Heel is always helping me out. They're the best, man. They're just my dog. She just got in an accident right in front of my house. It was my fault. She was off the leash. Luna, she's my little good luck charm. She'll be at this fight too, so she's doing good. She broke her pelvis, but she she just needs a little TLC right now and not to move with that much, and that's hard for her. But she Sweet Heel hooked us up with a care package for her, and it was cute. But Sweet Heel, again, thank you. And my buddies John Rodriguez at Titan Construction. He's always helped me out since day one. He's like the way back. Nobody else has been around as long as him. So thanks, bro. Miguel Carvalho with Real Results. Always helped me out with the kickboxing. Beyond Driven. Awesome gym, and just where I'm always grinding if I'm not grinding on the mats. And that Leroy Tatsudo Karate, that's always helping me out there too. But that's all. Thanks, guys.
Well, thank you so much, and we look forward to it. And tell the wifey I said hello. And wifey, girl, I don't know what your official thing, Amanda. She's your partner in crime. The dog are with you every time. So tell her I said hello, and we will see you guys in a couple weeks.
Hell yeah! Can't wait. Later, guys.
Man.
Have a good one.
May back in town. Jacob Bohn versus DiSabatino, Jake Hickson versus Aaron Hughes, and a couple of crazy matchups. Savage pros at the right spots in their career to match up against.
When he was talking about his teammate and fighting, I didn't want. Obviously, he has first things first. Like he's got to fight against DiSab, but I wonder, like, because Muse beat his teammate in the last fight, like, and Muse is a 55er. If there's any like maybe down the road he would like to try to get that fight. That was something I was thinking about.
And that talk about another banger of a fight. You know, Jerry Muse versus Jake Hicksenbaum. Those guys were cracking each other.
It's a good time to be a lightweight at Cage Titans.
It really is. It's the division's really heating up across the top to the budding end of the division on the local scene, and it's just the local scene. A lot of guys that are really clamoring to get that call to the top and have them all dish it out here in Plymouth is fucking time to be alive here. It's good.
Yeah, it is a good time to be alive. But anyways, without further ado, Mr. Cage Titans himself. I mean, there's a lot of people that could say that. Johnny Cupcakes, Mr. Cage Titans.
I like
Peter
to call
Barrett.
him the Cal Ripken Jr. of Cage Titans. I know it sounds like a broken record, but you know, every time that we have him on, which is I think the only 4 interviews he's ever done. So that's without further ado, the Cal Ripken Jr. of Cage Titans himself, Zach the Ripper DiSabatino.
Whoa, hey. There he is.
Here he is. Back in action
guys?
virtually. What's going on, DSAB? How you doing, man?
Not much. What's up with you?
Same shit, bigger pile. It never shrinks.
So, Zach, we know you had to miss the last show because you were at a bachelor party. Did you watch the fights? What were you thinking? You know, it's not normal not having you at a Cage Titans event. So we definitely missed you. Did you miss us as well?
I did miss you guys. Yeah, I did.
Like a toothache, I'm sure.
Did you get to watch some of the fights?
No, I didn't really watch any of the full fights, just like kind of the highlights and the finishes and stuff like that.
Yeah. So your opponent, Jacob Bohn, he was able to pull out that victory against Ali Zabian. You've had a chance to watch Bohn on a few occasions against Barrett, who was a former opponent of yours. You saw him against Gianetti, who was a former teammate or current teammate, whatever that situation is there. Then you saw him fight Ali. What are you looking forward to in this matchup?
Yeah, I think he's good at everything. I know he was saying how I was kind of good and kind of not good at some things, but I think he's pretty good at everything. Like, I know, or at least I think he was, started off as a grappler or a wrestler or whatever, but had some pretty good, striking matches. I didn't see the last one, but with Pete and Joe, that was some pretty entertaining like, a stand-up fight predominantly and stuff. So he can do everything pretty well.
Happy to be keeping that extra 5 pounds this fight, back at lightweight 155. Your last fight out,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
that extra
definitely.
five.
I don't want to go too much lower than 155 anymore. So that definitely is just one less thing to stress out a little less about.
All
So
right,
that experiment at 45 is definitely out of the equation.
Probably not. Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon.
that's why we got so much extra headroom right now, because he's trying to hide the bulk up that he's been putting on, since he knows that 45 is done.
So what do you think that you are going to be able to bring to this table against Jacob Bohn?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be cool, kind of, matching up everywhere, actually. It's kind of why I thought that would be a cool fight, I obviously don't know exactly what he has for a game plan or anything like that, but I thought it'd be a fun fight, kind of no matter where it goes. We're both, I think, pretty well rounded and stuff. So I think it would just be a fun. Most of his fights are pretty exciting and stuff like that. And I think most of mine are too. So I just thought it'd be a fun fight, kind of no matter what type of fight it is.
Yeah, you guys both have a history of being extremely durable, not afraid to fire in the pocket and
Yep.
implement grappling in different timings and cadences throughout. So it's going to be quite an intricate clash of styles, but when you guys do meet in the middle. But this is someone who's streaking. You're obviously on an incredible win streak right now in your pro career, and you're no stranger to taking challenges. Do you see how do you see his momentum carrying in your favor, making your return, seeing as you haven't fought in probably the most amount of shows that you've gone in between fighting since your amateur
Three
career?
shows.
Yeah, I don't think the time off will affect me or anything. Like, I was still training the whole time and everything. I just couldn't make the last one just because I was away that one weekend. But I was training, like, since my last fight, which was October. I haven't really taken any time off from training. So that's not going to be an issue for me at all. And that's why I want to fight him, is because now he's fought really good guys. I mean, all of his fights have been against pretty good guys, at least. But he's coming off of 2 wins, one against a guy with a really good record, and then even his 2 losses were against really high level guys. His last 2 losses were against really high level guys. So I thought that would be a good matchup.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I know, like you said, you've taken some time off, but when you say time off, that's a drop in the bucket comparatively to most fight careers. When I say the Cal Ripken Jr. thing, for those who are just fight fans who didn't follow
here's
baseball,
where
like he broke Lou Gehrig's record of consecutive games played, which is over in the thousands. But I think that your streak of fighting as consistently as you did in that 2-year period, show after show after show, is more impressive than playing 1,000 baseball games in a row, honestly.
So for those, they were like, "What are you talking about?" Some people don't know who Cal Ripken is. No. Anyways,
Motto: keep showing up.
So I'm looking at your fights. You made your debut at Cage Titans 24. Then 31, 32, 33, 34. You took 35 off. 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. You took 41 off. 42. 43, your fight pulled out at weigh-ins. 44, 47, 48, 50. It's like you just, bam, like one thing's consistent, and that's, you're going to see DSAB on a fight card. That's for sure.
It's just literally 3 shows in a row without DSAB, which is the most that we've gone without DSAB since 2016. Incredible. It's just remarkable. I'm still in amazement. I know we've probably harped on this several times. He doesn't give a shit. He shows up. He diets down. I can hear Steph laughing in the background right there. It's all business right here. I love it. The trajectory has been fascinating to watch, and you and Bohn are just 2 warriors that are going to go in until someone drops. And I can't wait. Very few words other than I miss calling your fights. It's been too long.
Yeah. So I didn't really want to take, as much time off as I did. I was thinking about maybe taking the January card off or whatever. And then I was planning on March, and then that just kind of ended up on the same date. I wasn't really expecting that. So I'm looking to get back in for this one and then kind of continue that and just be as active as I can from there on.
Yeah. Maybe we'll get you on a couple Table Titans again. We'll just keep the ball rolling. Like, we'll just keep pushing our luck. Every week we'll have a Zach DiSab, a Zach DiSab segment every Table Titans.
Rolling, because it took you what, like 12, 13 fights before you finally did one interview?
Yeah, that was good.
The most time in the spotlight, the least time on the promotional aspect of it. Just quiet, let me go in and bludgeon somebody for fun.
But the best thing about Zach is that your fans are diehard Zach DiSab fans. Like, for somebody,
giant facial cutouts in the stands.
That's Steph. I see her over to your right. Is she giving you notes? She's like, say this. She's like, say this, say that.
He's doing well on his own.
Are we gonna? So, Steph, I have a question for you. Are we gonna have those the cutout heads again this show?
Of course, they'll be there, but I won't be there.
Oh, I did hear that you weren't gonna be there.
Yeah, I told you I'm gonna be in Denver. Me and KK.
Oh, you couldn't plan your trip a little better?
No, well, I booked my trip like 3 months ago. You changed all the dates around this year.
Oh yeah. Blame me, it's all right.
I know this. Both just commented. The ironic part is Zach is actually low key funny if you get him talking. I've gotten you talking plenty of times at after parties, which is why I had to tell you I finally cut the shit and join one of the friggin' podcasts. You can't hide in the works for too long. You're on a 5 or 6 fight win streak. I just looked it up, and I can't count because I'm Polish. But
6 fights.
One of the more prominent lightweights in the Northeast. Anybody, anytime, anywhere, gotta share the light and get acclimated to this, because if there's top picks for true top prospects around here, you're right in the upper echelon of it, and a win over Bohn is going to cement you in, like, honestly, one of the people on the short list to call for the big show. And it's fascinating considering that we made our amateur debut on the same night. it's a complete different.
That's awesome.
Now Andy's just calling fights, and you're living the life. Speaking of living the life, are you doing your first interview from the new house? Because you're a brand new homeowner in the last month or so. Congratulations.
Yeah, I am.
The new house?
Just new house. Just I've been here for a couple weeks now. Just kind of finally getting everything settled in and set up and everything like that. So
are they asking for a tour?
What are you guys in Abington?
Yeah, North Abington.
I'm an Abington alumni, Abington High, class of '99. I'm old. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
There you go.
Cool little area.
Yep. Nice. Well, Zach, we won't keep you long.
7 minutes from South Shore.
7 minutes from the gym. All right. Nice.
All right. So if you weren't training enough as it is already.
Correct. Yeah. More training.
Yeah. Well, we will let you run, and we definitely appreciate your time.
Thank you for suffering through talking to the public.
Of course.
I know how stressful that is for you, and
I know.
I know how we've talked at length how much you absolutely fucking hate this, but
how do you deal with the interview room, Zach? We don't. So for those who don't know, we don't even give the fighters an opportunity to say no. We just drag them from the health room.
His living hell.
And we bring him to the media room. How have you done in there?
You take him from his most glorifying moment of winning a fight to hell of just making him talk about it.
I think the first few times when you guys were trying to do that, I was able to kind of sneak away. So I think there's probably a few that I actually didn't do. But now it's pretty tough to get away from those after the doctor checks you out and everything. So it's all right though.
We're right there. We walk you like it's like no one's getting by the media room.
I was able to kind of just leave and no one said anything, but now it's pretty difficult to get out of there.
Well, shout out to all the media members, Andrew Mack and all the guys.
Yeah, they're all cool though. They ask good questions and everything. It's cool. It's not too bad.
Big shout out to that whole room and teams of people that have been building.
Andrew Mack said they love you. That they love you guys, or you love them in the interview room. But Yeah, there you go. And Rob Pico said Steph's a sweetheart. Well, Steph, thank you for dragging him on the interview today. We're sad you won't be there on May 27th. DSAB, I'm glad that you have a good woman behind you that pushed you in front of the camera when you talked to us tonight. Before you go, give the fans what they can expect to see from you. Give us your soapbox pitch.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm hoping this is going to be one of I know my last fight was pretty short, and I wasn't too happy about the fight before that. So I'm hoping this is going to be one of the most exciting fights that we can put on. Hopefully, I mean, if it ends early, it ends early, but hopefully, it goes a little bit and we can put on a good show for everyone.
Well, thank you so much for your time, and we'll see you again soon. There's the man himself. What is it? Zach Panther Champ?
Zach Panther, the Ripper, Attack, whatever. There's so many nicknames.
Oh, he's still here. I thought he was gone.
Yeah, but it's,
what's your favorite nickname before you go?
We'll see you later, guys.
Before you go, what's your favorite one? No, don't leave yet. Your favorite nickname. What was your favorite
I don't like nicknames. I don't like any of those.
Out of all of those, if you had to choose one.
What? Name them. What are they?
Attack, Panther, the Ripper. There's a bunch of them. There's even more than that. I can't even remember half of them at this point.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm still trying to get people to stop calling me anything.
Call me nothing.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know who scares me more, you or Bill Mahoney. So I don't know which one we'll go with. So that's like when you tell me not to do a thing and Bill tells me to do it. It's really conflicting for me. So you got to understand my point here.
Steph, the marketing person, what would you pick for his nickname?
I like the Ripper.
All right.
I like that one better than the other ones.
Yeah, Zach the Ripper.
Just accept it, Zach.
All right. Well, thank you so much, guys, and we'll talk to you again soon.
All right. Thanks, guys.
I like that one.
Thank you.
Made up.
There we go.
Yeah,
Zach the Ripper.
As much as he hates talking with a camera in front of him, you get him for a beer after the fights. It's a tremendous conversation every single time.
Zach nothing DiSabatino. I like that.
I don't know.
Zach the Void. I like
the Void.
I yeah, the Void. But it's funny when you talk about these guys, like, the party was like that. It's like we feel like we're pulling back the curtain. It's like the party's really not that mean guy that you guys don't think is the villain. Kind of like DSAB is like, yeah, like you just said. It's like he is outgoing and talkative, just not in front of the damn camera and not in front of people he doesn't really know. I remember one night.
Student of the game.
Yeah, good times.
It's always a tremendous chat, and it's just like builds more fuel to the excitement of this matchup. He's a guy who, like I said, we made our amateur debut in the back the same night, and then my first night commentating is his night returning. So it's like the only one of the few guys that I actually have some background info on, and to see his career progress the way it has, from capturing the amateur title to fighting all of his pro fights for Cage Titans, win, lose, or draw, spectacular performances no matter what, and then now he's fighting Jacob Bohn, who, like we talked about earlier, owns one of the most significant emotional moments that I've witnessed cage side that a bunch of people would agree with after knowing his story at Cage Titans. The 1-2 out-of-state professional fighter here versus someone who spent the entirety of his career here, both of whom the crowd, who might not know either of them personally, but know both of them if they've been to Cage Titans over the past couple of years, because they're familiar with their performances, they know what they bring, and it's just going to be a tremendously electric Cage Titans co-main event, even though,
I'm just looking at DSAB's stats. 11-2 as a pro. He was 4-0-1 as a amateur. All Cage Titans. So he's had, 18 fights with Cage Titans. He's probably in the top 5.
It's gotta be.
And this guy's just a finish machine. He only went to a decision twice in his pro career. Yeah. I think he only went to a decision twice in his amateur career. This guy he's finishing guys. And Bohn is a guy that's like, man, I don't know. Honestly, if you've seen these guys fight, their fight record speaks for themselves. DSAB's not a guy that's going to talk. He's not going to pump it up. He's not going to do all that stuff. He's not going to boast. He's not going to brag. But if you've ever seen DSAB in the Cage Titans cage, He's been there 18 times.
Stone cold.
In the last 5 years, this guy, his resume speaks for itself. He is all action all the time. He pushes the pace, and he's just excitement. And then Bohn, what more can you say? He fought for Cage Titans 2 times in 2022, both nominated for Fight of the Year, and one of them he won the Fight of the Year. He's fought for us once so far in 2023. Easily could be Fight of the Year, it could be Comeback of the Year, Finish of the Year, Moment of the Year to see him up on that cage, like after he got that win.
That was the appetizer to the main course and dessert we got of that co-main event and main event with like all three complete Mount Rushmore legendary pro fights. And that's not many words else need to be said for this matchup right here. The excitement has been built up between the co-main event and the main event.
Let's throw that poster up one more time.
Yeah.
As we wrap on our, if we can, as we wrap on.
Much for going an hour. Kept it to an hour and a half.
We did all right, man. We did all right. We did hour and 16 minutes. So there you go. Our poster for this upcoming May 27th, Memorial Day weekend. What better way to celebrate than come on out to the fights, man. Our first ever heavyweight title fight.
Domenico going to be in action.
Domenico, shout out to Domenico. Great show, guys, man. We look forward to having it.
Through the connection the other night.
And man. So there you go. There's our poster. And we dropped today, brand new fight, breaking news. We broke it here today. Pat Casey, 9-6 out of G&G, taking on 6-2 Marty Navis, the Rhino. That's going to be a tremendous fight. The Beast. The Rhino is not the Rhino.
No, he's the Beast. Marty the Beast Navis.
He does have a shirt with a rhino.
No, Rhino's a beast of an animal.
Yeah, so there you go. Man, we cannot wait to see all these fighters, and we're still 7 weeks away. We got so much time to talk about it and pump it up. Keegan.
The resurrection.
Excuse me. Sorry. Keegan has his eyebrow. If anybody wants to do small glove MMA, there you go, Keegan. I'm giving you a pop. Anybody wants to do small glove MMA, Keegan Hornstra is your, what do they call it? I'll be your Huckleberry.
I'm your Huckleberry.
There you go. What, you want to be his Huckleberry?
No. Fuck that. I got shit to do that night. I don't want to fight Keegan.
There you go. So, yeah, we're looking for a small glove Muay Thai fight.
Yo, Aaron Hughes and Hickson, sure, man.
Aaron Hughes and Hickson will get on Table Titans. Why don't we try to get them next week, maybe?
Hey, why not? You're available, Hickson Bomb. What's your connection like to Rochester yourself?
Yeah. So we can get those guys on, and then maybe we'll try Trevor and Jack Kong, and that'd be another one.
I like it.
So let's try to line those guys up for next week. And, yeah, man, before we go, I don't really have anything.
I ain't got shit other than I'm excited for May 27th. I'm excited for May 13th here at Coops.
Coops Kong,
I mean, that's just a shameless plug. Other than that, we got nothing. We covered the 4 great interviews with the co-main event and the main event of Cage Titans 59 coming up. The momentum after the doubleheader, it really took a couple of weeks for me to kind of recuperate fully with life after the doubleheader. It was quite exhausting. I'm very relieved to hear that you never want to do that again, but I've heard that out of your mouth before. So that we're back in the groove and we just have one fight card to worry about here. Seeing how it's already constructed, scrolling down and seeing some of the matchups that are just waiting for a confirmation. I'm seeing some names and I'm keeping my mouth shut. I broke some rules last week, but I'm staying good this week. But yeah, as excited as I am right now, this time next week and 2 weeks from now, it's going to be that much faster.
As much as I like to do it, the reason why that I'm kind of opposed to the doubleheader now is like as I'm seeing like we're booking May, we already booked it. So like now, like if I can't get somebody on, it's like, all right, cool, I'll get you on the July card, and then I'm already like we're kind of getting ahead of the game now, and it's just like not feeling that pressure that like, oh my God, I got to kill myself and do 2 shows in a day to get all the fighters on. Like, just do our best and we stack it and people want to line up and fight for us. And they'll say, hey, listen, if you can't get me on May, I'll wait for the July card. And
so this being said, if you ain't on the July card soon enough, get ready for September because we're going every other month this year, 6 events every other month.
Yeah, Tyler Pimentel wants on Table Titans. Yeah, sure you do. And I don't think we're going to do the Giannetti.
I'd love to have stepdad Tyler Pimentel on Table Titans. long overdue.
We can have Zach on. I'm sorry, Keegan on.
It's kind of an open invite.
The question for Andrew Mack. Yeah, I don't think that we'll have that. I don't think that. I would love to have Vendramini back. But yeah, I'm not really sure if that would.
Vendramini versus Barrett.
I mean, there's a lot of fights that could happen.
There's a lot of fights. I was stoked to see Vendramini fight, and he had a good time. Him and his whole entourage had a good time at the fights, and that was a banger of a fight. I was looking forward to calling.
Shout out to Evan Williams. Tickets. Actually, when I get off air, I'm gonna make the ticket link live, so I will go update our website. I'm gonna update the graphics. I'll get all that up. So we're off air. We're probably in the next minute or so. I would say by midnight tonight. I gotta drive home to Plymouth. The boss man, Joe Party, the Penafiel, what's going on? Local Lobo Gresh checking in with us now. Hassan Graham, who's thrown his name in the hat. He said either May or the July card. So it's shaping up. It's a good time to be alive. It's a good time to be a part of Cage Titans. And I thank all you fans who have followed along for all the years. I never thought I'd ever be in this place that I am today. When I started this 13 years ago, it was let's do this one time and just to say I did it. And then here we are 59 plus cards later.
You earned it.
And it's a lot of work, but every night when I see you guys on fight night, it just keeps me pumped and it keeps me excited. It keeps me pumped up and makes me want to wake up and just keep doing this every day for you guys. So I hope you guys enjoy the show. I think Joe has a quick video for sponsors, so we're always looking for sponsors. A lot of people always ask me.
Sponsor this show. We're on every week. We get a decent amount of following. Talk to me. We'll figure it out.
So yeah, and a lot of times people ask me, "Oh, can I be on the cage mat? How can I be on the ring post? This, that, and the other thing." I'm super into just worrying about making the fights. I'll be quite honest, and I don't really explore those options, but. If people are into it and they want to do it, reach out and
Andy Kerr 77 on Instagram.
There you go.
I'll take that off his plate. We're good.
So if anybody's interested, we have a big card coming up and we're always to help lighten the load there. I'm not crying, Tyler. It's all right.
Close.
We're too far out from the.
Pretty close.
I will say.
Pretty close.
All right, I'm gonna.
Almost broke.
All right, fine. I'm gonna give you one piece. I got a new thing that I'm working on. As you know, I always try to do something new that I've never done before. And I got something new. I will tell you this, and it's going on Mike crying. I shed a tear when I thought about this idea in my head and I was playing it out. And the thought of it going down actually made me cry.
Oh, God.
I shared this full idea with one other person, and I made them do the whole process. They shed a tear. I'm telling you.
Am I going to cry right now?
No, it's going to be. No, I'm not telling you guys. It is. Fuck. I'm waiting for May 27th. But May 27th, I'm going to keep this under wraps. I'll tell you that it made me cry at least 3 or 4 times when I thought about it going down on fight night. And the one person that I told also had a tear in their eye when I told them, like, holy shit. It's going to be big. It's going to be fun. No, I'm sniffling. I'm still getting over being sick, so that's why I'm sniffling. But yeah, May 27th, we're going to have something new for you as well. Damn. So it's going to be fun. I cannot wait. I'm just getting jacked up, but we got to go. I got to get some. Now that we have the poster finished, I got to work on the matchup banners and do all the graphics, the tickets that people are already asking for. So thanks, Tyler. Goodbye, Tyler.
All right. Cheers, everybody.
Have a good one, guys.
Thank you again.